Okay, guys. Next section, it's section 14.3, factoring trinomials using trial and error method. Again, I will be talking about AC method, which we already know, and the textbook give you like a couple hints how you can quickly find the integers, which the product will give you AC and the sum will give you coefficient B. Okay, so this is video 1. Number 1. Okay, so let's write note. We already talked about that, but trinomials which can't be factor, we call prime. Okay. And example 1. Let's talk about that trial and error method. So we need to factor 20x squared plus 43x plus 21. So we're going to use AC method. So again, A is equal 20, let's review that, B is equal 43, C is equal 21. So A times C is equal 20 times 21, which is 420. So what we need to do, we need to find two integers, which by multiplication is equal to 420, which is our AC, and the same two integers, which by addition will give you coefficient B, which is 43. Okay, that's B. So trial and error method technically tells you that, just write a note, if coefficient C is positive, which in this case, yes, it is, C is equal to 21, it's positive 21, then the sign of two integers again, that's the one which I always put in the boxes, must be the same. So either both are positive or both are negative. Okay, so this is that trial and error method, and let's just add it. So let's add a little more to that. So if C is positive, and let's talk about our example, and B is positive, like you see in our case, B is positive, and B is positive, both integers must be positive. And let's just add it to that. So one more. If C is positive and coefficient B is negative, so here B was positive, so both integers must be positive. here the coefficient b, it's negative, then both integers must be negative. So that note should help you, especially when you have a huge integers, like here, product of AC is 420, to find the correct numbers. So we have this case right here. C is positive, and B is positive. So this is our example. Okay, so we have this example right here. So what we know that our both integer which we need to find, they have to be positive. Okay, so what's going to work? Let's think about it. 28 and 15. 28 times 15 is 420, and 28 plus 15 will give you 43. Okay, so the rest is the same. So there's nothing really new in this section. Next, create two parentheses. Let's just review that. In form ax plus first integer, which is our first number, times ax plus second integer. And again, they both must be positive because of coefficient of b, which is positive. So a was equal 20. Okay, so we're putting 20x plus 28 times 20x plus 15. Okay, so don't forget that this is not your final answer. Next, what you need to do, factor out GCF from each parenthesis. And rewrite without GCF. Okay, so our first parenthesis is for some reason doesn't work. It's 20x plus 28. That's your first parenthesis. Here the GCF, it's 4. 4 can divide 20, 4 can divide 28. So we write that as 4 times 5x plus 7. And what we're going to do, you're going to ignore that GCF. So that's the algorithm of factoring using AC method. The next parenthesis is 20x plus 15. In this case, the GCF is equal 5. So we write that as 5 times 20x divided by 5 will give you 4x. 15 divided by 5 will give you 3. And the same idea, skip it. We're going to ignore it. Okay. So now we have it. So original problem, which was 20x squared plus 43x plus 21, it's equal, and we're going to just use 5x plus 7 times 4x plus 3. 5x plus 7 times 4x plus 3, and the same idea, if you will FOIL that, you should end up with your original equation. Let's do example B. Let's talk about B. We have to factor 20x squared, very similar example, minus 43x. plus 21. Okay, so what is difference here? Right now, in this case, I change it a little bit. In example 1, b was positive 43. Now b it's negative 43. Okay, so what we have? A it's equal 20. B it's equal negative 43. C it's equal 21. So C it's positive. B it's negative. So when we're going to look for those integers, we're going to talk about this example. If C it's positive and B it's negative, which is this is our case, B it's negative, both integers has to be negative. So our both integers will be negative. Okay. So we find those integers before, so we're going to use what we did already. Okay. So let's just do it. A times C, it's equal 20 times 21, which is 420. And now we're looking for two integers, which by multiplication will give you 420. The same two integers by addition has to give you b, which is negative 43. So we talk about it that integers, both integers must be negative. Okay. So we find them before. We got before when b was positive, we got 28 and 15. So in this case, we'll have negative 28 and negative 15. So we have negative 28, negative 15, negative 28, negative 15. So negative 28 times negative 15, it's 420. Negative 28 plus negative 15 will give us negative 43. So we have it. Okay. Next, let's create parentheses. Okay, ax plus first integer times ax plus second integer. Okay, so that's the numbers which we have in the parentheses. So in our case, again, a is equal 20. So we're having 20x plus negative 28 times 20x plus negative 15. And all the time when you have plus and minus, you always rewrite that as minus. 20x minus 28 times 20x minus 15. So again, this is not the final answer. Okay, don't forget that we have to factor GCF from each group. And ignore it. Okay, so that's the algorithm. Okay, so the first group is 20x minus 28. GCF here, it's equal 4. So we have 4. So we taking that 20x, we divide by 4, we end up with 5x. That 5x go here. And then you take negative 28, you divide by GCF, which is 4, and we end up with negative 7, which goes here. And we ignoring GCF, okay? So the only thing which we're going to keep is the final answer. It's going to be 5x minus 7. Next, take the second parenthesis, which is 20x minus 15. GCF here will be like before, will be 5. So rewrite that as 5 times. Okay, take original 20x divided by GCF, you end up with 4x. So that's what's going inside of the parenthesis. Take original negative 15 divide by GCF, which is 5, and we end up with negative 3. Again, don't forget that we ignoring GCF and we only keeping what we have in the parenthesis. Okay, so last, rewrite parentheses without the GCFs. Okay, so our final answer will be 5x minus 7 times 4x minus 3. So that's our final solution. Okay, so in next example, in this section, let's see, I guess I will split into 2 videos. Okay, I will do example 2, and then I'll record the new videos for you so the videos are not too long. So let's continue. So this section is like previous section. We're just practicing factoring, okay, polynomials using AC method and factoring GCF. So let's practice more. Example 2. Factor 8x to the third power plus 38 x squared plus 24x. Okay, like you see, this is the example which we did in the previous section. You have a polynomial of degree higher than 2. Higher than 2, okay? Degree of this polynomial is equal to 3. So what we need to do, okay? First, all the time when polynomial has degree higher than 2, first you need to factor GCF from original equation. Don't forget that your original GCF, which you're factoring at the beginning, you always keep it as your final answer by the end. So let's find the GCF of 8x to the third power plus 38x squared plus 24x. Okay, so let's find that GCF. You have 8, 38, and 24. Find the number which divide all of them, and it's the highest one. It's going to be 2. Then you have x to the third power, x squared, and x. When we talk about GCF and the variables, you pick the variables to the lowest exponent. So our GCF is 2x. So let's rewrite that as 2x, which is the GCF, okay, times. And the rest goes inside of the parenthesis. So take your first expression, which is 8x to the third power divided by GCF. So 8 divided by 2 will give you 4. X to the third power divided by x is x squared. And that goes right here. So we have 4x squared. Okay, next, take the second expression, 38x squared divided by GCF, which is 2x. So we have 38 divided by 2, which will give you 19. X squared divided by x will be x. So we're having 19x And last, take the last expression, which is 24x, divide by GCF, which is 2x. 24 divided by 2 will give you 12. X and x cancel, so we end up plus 12. Okay, so don't forget, let me just write a note right here that this GCF, the original GCF, okay, we keep it. It's part of our solution, okay? We only ignoring the GCF of the quadratic equation, which is the one which we have in the parenthesis. So step 1 was factor out GCF. Step 2, factor out 4x squared plus 19x plus 12 using AC method. So again, probably you guys tired of that AC method, but I'm just trying to use only one method so you guys can master factoring. Okay, this is very important. A is equal 4. Okay, B is equal 19. C is equal 12. Okay, so A times C, we have 4 times 12. That will give us 48. And couple things, so just write a note. C it's positive. B it's positive also. So our integers, our two integers must be positive. So that's that trial and error method. So next what we need to do, we need to find the two integers which will give you AC, which is 48. And the same integers by addition has to give you the coefficient B, which is 19. So we already know that they both has to be positive. So let's think what's going to work. 16 and 3 definitely works here. 16 times 3, 48. 16 plus 3, we're getting 19. So when you find them, next, create two parentheses, our factors. Again, ax plus first integer times ax plus second integer. Okay, so in our case, let's go back. A is equal 4, so we're going to have 4x. 4x plus 16 times 4x plus 3. Don't forget that you need to factor out GCF from each parenthesis. Okay, that's the AC method algorithm. So 4x plus 16, GCF here, it's equal 4, so we're going to factor 4 out. We're taking the original expression, the first one, 4x, divided by your GCF, which is 4, we end up with x, which goes right here. Then I'm taking the original second expression, which is positive 16. I divide by GCF, which is 4, and we end up with positive 4. That's what goes to a second parenthesis. Okay, and the AC method algorithm tells you that you're going to skip that GCF, so we're going to ignore it. So only keep what you have in the parenthesis, which is x plus 4. Okay, so that's what we're going to keep. We're going to do the same thing with the second parenthesis, which is 4x plus 3. Here the GCF, it's 1. There's no way that you can find the number, the integer, which can divide 4 and 3, and to get the whole number. So since GCF equal 1, keep original parenthesis, which we're going to keep 4x plus 3. Okay, so we have it. So from AC method factoring, we have two factors. X plus 4 times 4x plus 3. Okay, so step 3, don't forget that we factoring polynomial of degree higher than 2. So step 3 will be rewriting the final answer using the original GCF, which we always keep, and the factors from AC method. So step 3. Rewrite the original problem using GCF from step 1 and factors from AC method. So going back to original problem, which is 8x to the third power plus 38x squared plus 24x equal the original GCF. This is what we did at the beginning. Step 1 right here. I'll just write that this is step 1. Okay. The GCF, it's 2x. You always keep your original GCF, so we're going to rewrite that as 2x. Okay, that's that GCF original times and factors from AC method, which will be x plus 4 times 4x plus 3. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I will record one video with the remaining examples.